Hello friends, how are you? Hope you really enjoying these videos in which we are trying to explain some useful topics for your exams in a very simple manners. Fine. So once again I would like to say welcome to all of you for this particular session, and as it is mentioned in this first slide, today we are going to discuss the questions based specifically upon the concept of your board exams, school exams, that is CBSE pattern, and the chapter is wave optics. Fine. So, my simple suggestion to all of you is, before starting further discussion of other questions, please go through with the videos of this chapter in which I explained you each and every concept. Say for example, Brewster law, say for example polarization, say for example interference, YDSE or diffraction or resolving power of optical instrument, and so on so forth. Fine. So, please take care, take revision of these topics and then start facing the questions. I hope you will find yourself in a very comfortable position. So, let us start today's discussion. Find the same pattern, question. I will tell you how you should write down the answer. Obviously, I will not write down the entire answer, fine, but I will give you the tricks how you should handle these questions. So, here comes your first question, and as usual question number 1 and 2 for 1 mark only. Sometimes I fix this question specifically in this category. Sometimes you may feel I am going to get only 1 mark and the question is very long, can't help out. If the examiner decided to design the paper like this, you have to provide the answer. Fine. Yes, if you can save your time, then you can do that. So, the question is, out of electric field vector E and magnetic field vector B in an electromagnetic wave, which is more effective and why? Now, the question is really very interesting question. Electromagnetic wave means you have a wave that is containing not only electric field part but also magnetic field part. So, you have two vectors, electric and magnetic field. Now, the question is very natural, it may come in the minds of anyone, which term is more important, electric field or magnetic field? Which term is creating lot of problems? Which term is important, or you can say associated with so many concepts, and which term is more effective, like that, these type of questions, and also you have to answer why. So, let us try to find out the solution of this question. In case of electromagnetic wave, fine, in case of, you need not to write down like this, I am elaborating entire picture. It is up to you to select only selective part. I am going to explain so that you can develop a proper understanding. In case of EM wave, electric field vector is more important, more effective, more important, like that. Question comes in the mind, why? Why is it so? Yes. Now, it is so because of the reason. First thing, I will give you two causes, fine. I think in 1 mark you need not to mention that much, but I am telling you so that in future you can use it anywhere. Because okay, in case of EM wave, E is, that is electric vector, is more important because there are two reasons. First is, in this particular example, because if a charge is moving with velocity v, then when this charge will get in touch with this electromagnetic wave, then we can write down Fe upon F magnetic is equal to E upon QVB. Fine. Okay, it should not be Q, but it is also E, the same charge. Cancel. Now E upon VB is equal to C by V. So it is C by V. Now you know C is very large than V. So as C is very greater than V, this implies that Fe is very greater than F magnetic. This is one reason. Another reason is, try to recall the phenomena of polarization. In polarization, you know, this electric vector vibrates in all possible directions in unpolarized light. So the phenomena of polarization that comes in electromagnetic waves, it is also because of this electric field. Fine. So this way you can say, for 1 mark I am giving you so much information, you can use it as per your requirement. Okay. Then comes question number 2, and here in this question number 2 you will find a very remarkable difference. And what is that difference? It's the question number 2. If a wave undergoes refraction, transmission, moving from one medium to another medium, then what happens to its phase? Will the phase of a electromagnetic wave will change, light wave will change in case of refraction? Now for 1 mark, see the beauty. In previous question for 1 mark, you are supposed to write down at least 3-4 lines. Here, no change. Idea is simple. So this will give you 1 mark. Now it is the variation in the questions. So you should mentally prepare yourself for handling any type of problems under any category. But if possible, use your knowledge, use your abilities to make your answers simple, logical and short as much as required as per the marks. Fine. Marks of the question. Then comes question number 3 and 4, and both these questions are for 2 marks. Now this question is very philosophical question, emotional question. Why? Explain the statement, light added to light can produce darkness. Money added to money may produce, like that. Philosophical question. Is it possible I am adding light with light and still I am getting darkness? Yes, it is possible. When? Okay. You have to write down 2-3 points in this particular question, but the idea is simple. I am interested to talk about destructive interference. That is, when two non-coherent light sources producing destructive interference. So basically, rather than talking like this, explain destructive interference, in this question they asked, when you add light with light but you will get darkness. So this is the condition, destructive interference. Two non-coherent means take two different sources which are non-coherent, so you will get this destructive interference. Okay. Then comes question number 4. This question is associated with question number 3. Fine. Will you observe interference fringes on the screen? Now, rather than asking under what conditions you can achieve interference fringes on a screen, here a diagram is given. Now, there are two sodium lamps S1 and S2, and this is the screen. The question is, with this setup, is it possible for you to achieve interference fringes on your screen? The answer is light added to light will give me darkness. Fine. So, in continuation these two questions, because these are two different sources. So, they are not coherent, and when they are not coherent, phase difference is there, then what will happen? They will not produce any type of fringes. So, now you can explain it like this way: these sources, two sources S1 and S2 are two sources. For interference pattern, we have to create two sources from single source, like that. Fine. And only then we will get the pattern, but over here it is not like that. So, we will not get any type of pattern because the sources are not coherent, and so on so forth. Like this you can explain this particular question. So, all these questions you can say are correlated. Okay? Question number 5 to 6, these are 3 marks question. Now, 3 marks questions, sometimes you may get some numericals, sometimes you may get some diagrams, some small derivations, something like that. But for 3 marks questions, your answer should be balanced. It should be like around a page or so, A4 size sheet. Fine, I mean proper explanation. Fine. So, let us start how to interpret this. State the conditions which must be satisfied for two light sources to be coherent. 3, 4, 5. So, now in continuation I am trying to put properly this concept in your mind. Fine. What are the conditions which must be satisfied for two light sources to be coherent? So, the very first thing is two light sources must be derived from one single light source. This is the first point I should write down. Fine. That is number 1. Two light sources must be achieved, achieved, achieved using single source, Try to recall the diagram of YDSE. Source, then S1, S2. So, this is first condition. There are other conditions, I will write down. This one point I mentioned because I know you very easily you can recall back this point. Fine. Then I will say by using number 2, you can say source and its virtual image. Fine, that is source and its virtual image. This is also a method to achieve this, two virtual images of the same source. Fine, source and its virtual images. Now, another you can say two real images, I think I should write down real images, two real images of same source, of same source. Fine. So this way you can mention these 2-3 points. Fine. Also you can elaborate it up to some extent, because now the idea, if you watch this question number 3, question number 4, question number 5 in totality, you can answer other questions also based upon this concept. Fine. Then comes question number 6, and this question number 6 is also for 3 marks. Just take a look. Define plane of polarization and plane of vibration. Now, in this question you can do 2 things. I picked this question specifically only for this reason. Either you write down something about polarized, unpolarized light, then you explain what is the plane of polarization, this term, and then plane of vibration. So, few words you can write down. I am telling you something different also that you can do. Fine, you can write down, no problem. But if you supplement that writing, I mean few lines with few diagrams also, out of 3 you will get 3 marks. So, writing is not difficult. Plane of polarization, just 1 line definition, I already explained in one of my videos. Plane of vibration, already explained. So, if you regularly you are watching our videos, you will say, okay, these are simple things. But because it is in 3 marks category, this question, so what I want to do, I want to create a diagram also. How? That I am telling you. Okay. So, this way you can supplement your answer with a simple diagram. Fine. And that diagram is like this way. Fine. Here it is unpolarized light. Mark it as unpolarized light. Mention it. Unpolarized light. Unpolarized light. Fine. L-I-G-H-T. Unpolarized light. This one. Now, if this light is entering over here, then obviously it is plane polarized. Fine. So, now what exactly plane of vibration and plane of polarization, how you can show it in this particular diagram. Wordings are fine, you can do that. So, from here do one thing, fine, start like this, okay. So, this portion that you may say A, B, C, D, this plane A, B, C, D is plane of vibration. So, I think I should write it down over here. That is plane A, B, C, D is plane of vibration. Okay. So, now if you draw the diagram like this and then you will explain, so it will give the idea to the mind of the evaluator that yes, the concept is clear in the mind of this student. First thing. Now, in the same diagram you can also show this plane of polarization. Now, how you can show the plane of polarization? Let me allow to explain it. I think I should use a different color chalk like this, then like this, like this. Fine. So now this let's make it more beautiful, that is more beautiful. Yes. So now this red color, this plane, this one, okay. Now this red plane is what? This red plane is plane of polarization. Fine. So plane of vibration is this one ABCD, and let's say K, L, M, N. So it is plane of polarization, that is K, L, M, N. Now you can answer the question like this. Either draw the diagram or mention it like this, or you can write down and supplement with the diagram also. Fine. So this way you can ensure that yes, full marks you are getting without any difficulty. Fine. Then comes question number 7. Now 7 and 8, 4 marks question. So here obviously you have to expand your answer for more than one page with proper information. Okay. Describe briefly the construction and working of a Nicol prism. Already I provided the details of this Nicol prism in one of my videos, regular videos, but just for the sake of giving you a fresh, you can say revision type of thing, I would like to mention some important points over here. Fine. So first is you should start writing the answer like this. You should write down like this. Nicol prism is a device to produce plane polarized light. Plane polarized light, number 1. Okay. It also analyze the nature of light. Nature means plane polarized, circularly polarized, elliptically polarized, polarized or unpolarized, like that. It also analyze the polarization. Okay. Then comes the question, what exactly this Nicol prism is? So Nicol prism is nothing but a calcite crystal cut at 68 degrees and then joined together with Canada balsam. Fine. So this prism is created using calcite crystal, I think I should use this space. Calcite crystal cut at 8 degrees and joined using Canada balsam. Actually this is a specific type of glue which is used. Fine, it is used for this Canada balsam, joined using Canada balsam and having mu is equal to 1.55, nearly, fine, 1.55. So this is the basic idea of construction and working. With the help of a diagram, I explained that the prism is placed. You have to produce that diagram, the same diagram which is present in our videos. You have to place this this calcite crystal combination that is defined as this prism, and then you have to show the light coming, that is reflected ray, refracted ray, and so on so forth, fine. So for that complete solution, you have to take a look of our videos, which already I am sure with you. So at some point of time, when you have time, please take a look of these videos. You will definitely get some information, or you can say enhanced knowledge, fine. So let us make it clean and then further jump for the other questions. So students, next question is again for 4 marks. Just take a look. State and explain Brevister's law of polarization. Fine. State and explain Brevister's law of polarization. One proper video I prepared for this particular topic. Please be regular. I am definitely not going to write down the answer, because it is directly based upon one of my old lectures, fine. Here what you will have to prove? Here you have to prove like mu is equal to tan IP. I hope you all have the idea of this relation, fine. So what is IP, what is mu? Mu is refractive index, and y the ratio. So Morley's law and Brewster law, these are two important laws. Both laws I explained in my this meso study videos. So please take a look and then learn how to write down the answer, because there I explained very effectively and simply these two definitions. In wave optics, whenever you are talking about your this interference, diffraction, polarization, so in polarization this Brevister's law is very important, fine. So because I provided you this complete video, so I do not think there is any point of writing down the entire answer again. If at any point of time you have any difficulty, please take a look of that video. Then comes question number 9. Now there is a specific reason why I picked this question. Reason is simple. Such a large question, and what is your mentality? Oh my God, very difficult question. Bhago, let's move. Something like that? No. First read the question, think, and then you will realize, oh, just one line and 5 marks. So never ever run away from the problems. At least read the question twice peacefully. 90% chances are you may answer that question. This runaway methodology is really very horrible. So let us read the question. Red light of wavelength, values given, from a distant source falls on a slit 0.5 meter, that is slit width. Calculate distance between the first dark band on either side of central bright band of the diffraction pattern observed on a screen placed 1.8 meter from the slit. So what you should have to write down in this particular question, what exactly the approach for this question? That is, actually distance, just let me allow to mark it. First dark band and bright band, it is nothing but width of central maxima, fine. Just twisted wordings, otherwise width of central maxima they are asking. Width of central maxima, fine. Now width of central maxima 2 lambda d upon A. A is slit width. Now all values are given, lambda is given, fine, slit width 0.5 mm, convert it in meter is given, and this d 1.8 meter also given by putting the values and solving we will get it as 4.68 millimeter. So is it like that this question is difficult? Here they just want to know you have the idea of central maxima or not. Fine. So clever question with some, you can say, different approach, otherwise formula calculation is so simple. Fine. Then comes question number 10, again 5 marks. Assuming the mean wavelength of light as 555 nanometer, mean means red violet in between that, fine. So estimate the smallest angular separation of two stars which can be just resolved by the telescope. I prepared one complete video on resolving power of optical instruments, telescope, microscope, human eye, on everything. So this question I picked directly for that particular video. If you are regularly revising these videos, you will say, oh, this question is just one line question. Otherwise, you will look the question will look you, that's it. Given the dia of objective of astronomical telescope is 25 centimeter. So the solution of this question is, that is d theta is equal to 1.22 lambda by d. Fine, lambda value is given and this d value is also given, that is 25 centimeter. So d theta is equal to 2.7 into 10 to the power minus 6 radian. In your board exams, they never ever ask very horrible questions. Questions are simple, they just want to check whether you are comfortable with the basics or not, that's it. So students, it was a set of simple 10 questions, fine, and we learned how to answer these type of questions. Once again, my suggestion is, please at least once or twice go through with the videos, okay, of this particular chapter. So I think we should stop over here, because these 10 questions we completed. Very soon I will come back with some more questions, more concepts with some videos. So once again I would like to say, please take care of yourself, that is very important, and take care of this also by revising. So thanks a lot for watching this video, take care of yourself.